Live from VMworld here at the Tech Talks, VMware Bags. How are you doing? My name is. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. My name is Maish-Saidel Keesing. I work for Cisco as a platform architect, and we have over here with us.
I'm Josh Atwell from VCE, the architect out of the Carolinas. Ready to talk about automating all the things?
Yeah, that's good. That's good. So today we're going to be talking about data center automation, infrastructure automation. A while back ago, I wrote a blog post on my blog about how Puppet and Chef automation tools, orchestration tools, are there at the moment for the application side of things, but not actually for the complete infrastructure in the end.
Right.
You work for VCE, correct?
That's
so
correct.
VCE, what do you guys do usually?
We do infrastructure.
Okay, but infrastructure, as you mean, you're talking about UCS servers.
Yep. So yeah, with VCE, our product is the V-Block. It's a converged infrastructure utilizing Cisco UCS for compute, Cisco networking, EMC storage, and then we have a lot of new elements on top of that for trying to make a very robust infrastructure for people to run in their environment.
Correct. That's very good. And as we know, VCE is a partnership between Cisco, VMware, and EMC itself, correct?
That's correct.
So how will infrastructure automation, for example, help you with providing a faster solution from a VCE standpoint?
Right. So from a high level, within the pre-sale side is that the same problems that we have are in how do you get that infrastructure in? Once you've identified that you need additional infrastructure, how do you get it in? How do you get it deployed in? Without error, get it so that you can start getting value out of that resource right away. Because anytime that the boxes are sitting on the Docker in the data center and not put together is infrastructure time lost.
Correct,
right?
yeah.
Because by the time you order it, you already need that infrastructure. So V-Block being a converged infrastructure and delivered, pre-configured, pre-built, ready to go. Generally, we're finding it allows customers to start focusing more on that automation layer and getting that next level up, so that when the infrastructure rolls in, to take advantage of like a lot of tools from Cisco and from VMware for automating those components for delivering resources to their clients or to the company.
But we're talking about the fact of automation, but isn't automation of the applications enough? Why do we actually have to automate the actual infrastructure itself? The whole thing with software-defined data center, what people are talking about. Why do we need to go and actually automate the actual infrastructure itself? What will help?
Because we have to change the infrastructure, right? As new applications come out, as new infrastructure components are released, you got next generation, like Cisco UCS blades, and you're starting to want to take advantage of this new technology. You have to elicit change in the environment in order to do stuff. One of the directions that I really like that Cisco's doing is everything's profile based. Right. So when you go and you manage your Cisco UCS chassis, swapping blades to new generation is much easier than it used to be, because your profile is there.
And even if you need to not only replace your hardware for a new generation, or if there's some kind of problem with the actual hardware, all you need to do is pop it out, pop it in, everything stays the same, including MAC addresses, WWNs, all the infrastructure is already there. There's no changes needed to be made on your SAN or on your network fabric or wherever else it is to make your infrastructure continue working.
Yeah, I mean your infrastructure is now more dynamic, but the interesting thing I see, like with VMware and with Cisco and all the things that they're doing with how we're accessing the applications. Yeah. And I'm going to be very agnostic because I am not a networking expert, but what we're finding is that while that infrastructure is becoming boring more or less, or it doesn't really matter what you're using as these platforms mature, it still has to be done. It still has to be racked and cabled and configured and compatible. You still have to do your due diligence and engineering to make sure that the infrastructure is going to be stable to provide the software-defined elements to control it.
Correct. That's very good. Yeah.
Yeah. So those guys still have a job.
Yeah, they definitely do. No matter how much we automate, everybody hopefully will still have a job.
That's right, and that's one of the biggest value propositions for VCE is that we're delivering that infrastructure with the Cisco gear and with the EMC gear, and we've done a lot of that due diligence for customers, so that as they start implementing things like VCAC, to provide cloud portals or CIAC from Cisco.
Yeah.
That foundational infrastructure component is kind of already preset, so they can focus on those things instead.
So you mentioned CIAC, which is Cisco Intelligent Automation Center.
That's correct.
How do you feel that it is going to fit into the to the infrastructure today, or into the data center today? Why will it help?
Well, the biggest way that it helps is you have customers and they have a need. They're needing to provision either physical hardware, or they're needing to provision virtual machines, and it is their interface that allows them to be self-sufficient.
Correct.
So that they're able to get what they need without calling IT.
Yeah.
Right? Because I remember when I started virtualization and the company that I was working for was really starting to understand what it meant. And I was getting phone calls every day saying, hey, we got this new application coming in. We need you to spin up a virtual machine. And I'm like, I'm doing this all on my own.
Yeah.
Well, that's actually how I got into automation in the first place, because I like doing my good work when I'm drinking coffee.
That's
right. Yeah.
With me, it's Diet Coke.
So that's where you're going to see, where you see like CIAC, Cisco IAC and VCAC coming in and providing that portal capability so that the clients and the business that you serve can go out and get what they want. The real key is making sure that you give them options that you can operationally maintain, while also giving them the options that meet their needs. And that's the real challenge, and that's where the infrastructure management gets fun.
Yeah, and that's what all these solutions for automation are actually trying to provide, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you got everybody trying to get to the same destination, and they have their own paths to get there.
Correct. Yeah. If we go over to networking for a second, automation of networking is also something which was mentioned over here in the keynotes. For example, for the NSX, which VMware announced today or yesterday. As part of Cisco, we provide a virtual switch, as it is, Nexus 1000V. And there is additional added value of actually having a conformed switch which is agnostic to any kind of platform. So we have Cisco 1000V, which can sit on top of VMware, or on top of OpenStack, or on top of Hyper-V itself, and it will be the same switch with the same networking people will automatically know how to manage, no matter regardless of the environment. So, does automation of actual networking help us, or are we still going to leave it to the networking people, or are we going to go to the VMware admins?
I think that's going to be determined. I think the more common thread is that common denominator to where all the different platforms and capabilities, that level of agnostic, that you can deliver this capability on this switch or virtualized in the VMware stack. As that base feature set that works across all of those improve, I think that's where we're going to see the virtualization experts and the ones that are providing the cloud services to have a better opportunity to have control, because now you have a wider range of capability. The networking team can say, yep, this is our service profile for networking, and this is how we're going to deliver, and you just are able to apply those applications to those profiles, and it doesn't matter like what it's sitting on.
Exactly, and regardless of the infrastructure underlying. Correct. Yeah.
But networking guys like to hold the network, and that's fine.
But if they actually like to hold the network, the whole idea of NSX is not giving it to the networking people, it's taking it away from the networking people. So, I don't know. My feeling personally is that we're not going to necessarily see the networking admins give this away so easily. It will take some time. Perhaps it will change, perhaps it won't.
Well, I think it's going to come down to exactly what this topic is about, right? The networking infrastructure is going to be automated in a way that it hasn't been in the past.
Yeah.
So, their level of, not influence, but their level of effort in order to provide those networking requirements, it should start reducing considerably, because these products are going to come in and deliver additional functionality that is already software defined.
Yeah, that's true.
Software defined means that software is taking care of what's going on.
That's true. Let me ask you another question, if I may. We're talking about the fact of not only delivering a product to a customer, but also helping them scale.
Yeah.
So if we have an automated solution to deploy another vBlock or another Cisco switch or another VMware hypervisor, the integration should be much closer in between all three companies or all the companies which are trying to work.
Right.
Which is something which at the moment I don't think we really have. We have a tool for VMware, we have a tool for Cisco or EMC, wherever else, or the NetApp, wherever the company is. But do you ever think that there will be some kind of a
one ring to rule them all?
Exactly, for all the automation.
You know, unfortunately, I'm not in an operational role where I get to manipulate and turn all the knobs anymore and get involved. But I do kind of follow, the new announcements like with 1PK, Open Daylight, and this. What you're seeing is all the hardware manufacturers are making a really strong push to provide APIs and tools that make it much easier for them to cross-integrate. And then that's where you start seeing tools like VCAC, vCenter Orchestrator, Cisco Intelligent Automation Center,
Cisco
CPO.
UC correct.
These tools are now able to go in, and your limiting factor is what's available in the API.
Correct.
Right. So that level of compatibility and being able to deploy quickly is wholly dependent on what you're able to actually automate and implement through some orchestration application, whether it be any of those that we've talked about.
So for example, Cisco UCS Directory at the moment has support for EMC arrays, VMware UCS, NetApp arrays that can do full automation of a workflow through a blueprint that you're doing, like a complete greenfield installation from zero to get to an up and running environment in the least amount of possible time to get you working and up and running. We're halfway through the show.
It's only halfway?
I think halfway. I mean, today's Monday, so we've got another two or 3 days to go. So what else would you like to see here from the conference today? I know you're working in a booth some of the time.
Yeah, I'm working hard in the VCE booth, doing automation orchestration, talking about those solutions over there. The big thing that I've seen so far that makes me very happy is that we're seeing a lot more discussion and concern on how to manage these environments. Not only how we deliver the next generation of tool sets and functionality to solve our business needs, but also how do we manage that? Right? The demonstration that we saw showing this is what you have to do in order to do that. I think that's a huge win for VMware. I'm really glad that they're making it a priority. In fact, I think all of the manufacturers involved in the virtualization space have seen that that is fundamentally key in order to allow organizations to continue to buy your product. That's what it's about, right? We want you buying product. But if you make it easy to buy that product and integrate it into your environment and start delivering value to your business or the clients that you serve, the faster you do that, the faster you get value back. And so these organizations, these companies that are producing the hardware, they're doing a great job of improving the manageabilities.
Okay, good. From my point of view, I would actually just ask you the same question, what I would like to see further from the show. So there was a couple of announcements regarding the VMware Cloud Hybrid Service, the VCHS, of how it's supposed to allow you to expand your data center. And it will be interesting to see how actual companies and enterprises use this as part of a cloud bursting solution to take their data center to a physical level, to not exactly physical, but more of a virtual level to the cloud, and help them expand much quicker and contract much quicker when they actually need to. So that's actually something I would like to see more about and get more information about.
Yeah, the amount of automation and the work that they have under that, I would love to see. But they're being very coy about what's there. I know just last week at PuppetConf, Nick Weaver and those guys started talking about Project Zombie, which is one of the layers of automation and work that they have under the covers of VCHS. But they've got a tremendous amount of work under that, and I'm hoping one day that some of that will get published out and we'll get a better picture of how they're delivering that, because it's a considerable challenge to even as a provider to forecast when you need resources, and once you've identified that moment where you're like, we need additional infrastructure, get that infrastructure implemented quickly so that you stay one step ahead of the sales guys that are selling the service.
Yeah, that's for sure. We mentioned Puppet. There's actually been a lot of collaboration between the two companies, Puppet and VMware itself. Several, I remember there's one or two people actually which came from Puppet into VMware working on this actual team doing the automation. Is there a problem, in your opinion, of only having one specific vendor which is working with VMware, or going completely more open? In other words, having more options of interfacing into the infrastructure, specifically Puppet, or there's other automation solutions, for example, Chef, or other kinds of things like that. Would that be I know you need to focus on something.
Right.
But just interesting to hear your opinion about that.
You know, it really comes down to what you're trying to accomplish, what tools are available for you to accomplish that, and do you have the skill sets to use those tools to accomplish what you need to accomplish. As I earlier, we were talking about the project you worked on automating Oracle implementations for Oracle RAC. Right? Now, how many options of tools could you choose from in order to accomplish that goal?
Correct. So then in this case, there was more or less one or two tools that I could actually use in order to get that done. Correct.
And so what did you do?
I chose the one which I'm most comfortable with.
That's
exactly.
Right. You know, is it the best one? Don't know. William Lamb might argue that you should have used Perl. And written it all in Perl. And he would have solid arguments as to why that might have been a better choice than Power CLI. Alan Renouf and myself would be like, no, you made the perfect choice. Right? But in the end, what matters is that your skill set and that tool aligned, and more importantly, that tool aligned with what you were trying to accomplish. And as such, you were actually able to do something that, I think you said went from 16 hours
to 1 hour, and then most of it is waiting time in front of the screen for the installation packages to work. Yeah.
Right. So when your boss says, hey, you need to provision this, like, write on it, and you hit go, and you sit back and drink coffee and watch it go. Right? But you did an hour's worth of work without doing an hour's worth of work.
I know, but of course I did an hour's worth. The thing is, there is a lot of investment that you need to get to that actual level.
Right.
Of course.
Well, I posted an image on my blog, I think it was last year on Datacenter.com, and it kind of goes like this. You have a task, and that's what it takes when you do it manually.
Correct.
And effort over time, right? But when you do automation, your effort is greater at the beginning, but then it levels off
at the same level because it's the same thing.
And you do more and more of it, and it doesn't matter because your effort doesn't change anymore. While this one is still going way up because you're having to do the same task over and over again. I've stated a number of times, I will spend 3 hours writing a script to do something that would have taken me 4 hours to do manually. Simply because I don't ever want to have to do it again. Right? I'll write that script, it'll be done, and then A, I'm less likely to make a mistake by using a script, and B, I still gain an extra hour that I would have been doing that process manually still.
And specifically if you have to do it again, repeat it.
Right, and and that's where like the service profiling and how everything is getting very profile based. I love that because now you can just align up what the profile needs to be, assign it, and then it takes that element of error, that human error, out. Unless of course you mess up the profile. That's what.
Well, human error is always the biggest problem.
Right. Well, and that goes back to making sure that you have the skills in order to use the tools.
Correct.
If you don't, reach out to the community, get some training, or more importantly, like you did, just work on it.
Yeah, that's true.
Sort it out.
Okay, Josh, I thank you very, very much for your time today.
It was a pleasure talking with you.
You're on Twitter, you said?
Yeah, I'm a little bit on Twitter. I'm at Josh_Atwell on Twitter.
And your blog is?
My blog is vtesseract.com, VTESSERACT.com.
Okay. And my name is Maish-Saidel Keesing. If you guys want to get hold of me, I'm on Twitter as well, Maish_K. Technodrone is my blog. Look it up in Google. You'll be able to find. And I want to thank you very much for joining us today.
Thanks a lot. Thanks, Maish.
Yep.